Hello everybody, this is Vincent Bitter again with a brand new video about our live simulation game Hello Moon. This time we will start building the public website. I'm calling this the marketing website since the only reason it's out there is to attract new players and share any public information. Our actual game will be built in a separate project because we don't want those to be mixed up. I really want to start building software and you're probably waiting for that for a long time too. So let's start defining the content we need and then start development as fast as possible. Especially since our game is at exactly 0%, we do not have a lot of content for our website yet. We can, however, introduce the story, which I already did in our first video. Besides, we have these videos, so we should link that. Even though we don't have any features yet, we should reserve some space to tell our visitors what this game is going to be about. And later we will even add some screenshots. Now we don't have a way to sign up yet and you can't log in. But let's add some prominent placeholders for those buttons. Oh, and before I forget, we need a logo. I can call myself a lot of things, but I definitely cannot call myself a good designer. If you are or you know one interested in this project, please let me know and I will contact you for sure. For now, we will have to do with my skills. Starting with the logo. I know, this looks like nothing. And as the project progresses, I will hire someone to do a better design than this. Unless a volunteer signs up. Now, I got some inspiration from website templates around on the internet and I think we can make some nice website out of that. Without too much effort. But we will get to that later on. To get a bit more familiar with the technology we're going to use for our game, we will use the same technology for our marketing website. This means we will build this website in React. Well, it's in fact just a single page without any logic. The game will also use Redux, but I guess that's going to be quite impossible for our marketing website because there's nothing we want to store in a state. Further, we will stick to the same technology with TypeScript, HTML5 and Sass. A framework gaining popularity is Next.js. It is often compared with Gatsby and one of the disadvantages of Next.js was that you needed a Node.js server running to handle the routing. Now that is solved in version 9.3, which allows us to generate static websites too. I think Next.js is absolutely perfect for us to use as a base. It has documentation available for using TypeScript and Redux, so this should work for us. For the game, it allows us to easily add pages without the need of a central routing table, which sounds really nice to me. Now if we create a website, we also need a place to host it. Of course, we could use some shared web hosting account, but we are targeting the whole world, so performance is important. This marketing website is just static content, so we don't need any special server-side technology. One of the ideas I had was to host a website on GitHub Pages. This could work, but there are two difficulties. The first one is that GitHub Pages does not support routing, so a dirty hack is required to forward 404 errors to the index page showing the actual page. The second problem is GitHub does not guarantee any resources. If your website attracts too many visitors, they will ask you to move it. But there's no hard limit there, so we never know when the moment will come. Netlify is a cloud platform allowing you to host static websites on a global scale. Their free package includes 100 GB of data transfer, which will be more than enough for us to start with. Netlify also has a great feature to build your static website, something we have to do because of Next.js. But Netlify doesn't support unit tests, as far as I know, which is an essential step before publishing. Therefore, we will bring our building jobs to Travis CI, which will also be used for the rest of our software. Now finally, let's start programming. When I first recorded this video, I tried to do a live coding video, but editing that video took ages and unfortunately it failed. So the result of this attempt was not satisfying, and when I look back at this video it was boring and it was way too long. So I gave it another try, and I will now just summarize what I did instead of a step-by-step tutorial for you. So the first thing I did was copying this example template for Next.js. So you can do that easily by creating a next step and using this as the example, as this is in the Next.js repository. So go to the Next.js repository, then examples, and you will find a complete list with all kinds of examples. And I really like this particular one because it has TypeScript configured, it has linting configured, formatting with prettier. It also has this Husky commit hooks, meaning that if you're gonna commit to the Git repository, it automatically does this linting, type checking, etc. And it has Jest configured. And I'm not per se the biggest fan of Jest because I think there are better ways of testing, but it really helps us to get up and running quickly. So this is our project opened in Visual Studio Code, and well, as you can see, the root is quite clean. Of course, there's this license file we already created in a previous video, and I have added this README file, which is quite clean. Also looks like the README file I created for the game repository, but now with some instructions for the public website on how to install, run and deploy it, and if you want to contribute, please check this section. Now there's also this Travis YAML file which is used for the automated build process, which I configured in Travis, but I recently figured out that Travis discontinues its free plan in December, I guess, or maybe January. So I think I'll have to move to something else. For the public or for the API project, I already start using DevOps, Azure DevOps or Azure Pipelines, and another way to solve this is by using GitHub Actions, which is also quite attractive for these, well, quite simple build processes. Well, basically what it does, it does a yarn install, which was shown in the README file. You have to do that. It runs a lint, it runs a type check, test, and a build, and when that's done and we're on the master branch, it will also deploy it to Netlify with this site ID, and there is some environment variable in Travis CI to specify the secrets for this. Now, this is the source of the application, and let me see the package.json over here. It's also quite simple. Well, should look like the example. And some important things here are the test all, which is comes in quite handy when you're in your development environment. You just want to run this and check it, and of course the dev to start development, or the development server, I have to say. And so that's basically it. Yeah, one thing we have here is the Font Awesome repository, which is also included, or I'm saying repository, I mean package. So the Font Awesome package, which is included, and we will see that on our website later on. And yeah, so that's pretty it for those files. As you can see, there are components, pages, and some other stuff. Let's look into that after looking at the result I already created. So to start the development server, I have to move to the src folder and run yarn dev. And you can see it will start, and it is hosted on localhost port 3000. So let's copy that. And this is the result. As you can see, there is some marker here at the bottom. This will only be shown in the development environment. It has a logo. We have some nice background. I grabbed this from unsplash.com, which is a really cool website if you need high quality stock images. Well, we have a placeholder for the sign up button and quite a short paragraph about the story. Now here are those font awesome icons I talked about, and this is well, there are now 3 features here, and I want to make this list grow and expand to hopefully separate pages with more into detail about what are the possibilities. And of course the development section, linking to our GitHub and YouTube page. Now, like I said, we have some components and pages. It's pretty straightforward. There's one page, so I just put in all the HTML in this file except for the features, because that was a repeating element on the page. And of course, if you want to improve this, you will have to, or you should create a layout page with this header and footer and so on. But since it's just one page, I think it doesn't really matter at this moment. So as you can see here, we have those feature elements, and you can set a name, an icon. So this is the font awesome icon, and a description for the feature. And this feature, you can see, is referenced from component/feature, which is over here. And it's pretty simple. It has this interface, and I didn't specify this type for the icon because it's an icon prop, and well, it made it more complex to solve this. Well, as you can see, I used Bootstrap. If you're familiar with that, it's a CSS template made by Twitter some years ago, and I think it's really useful to set up a website like this. For our game, I already started building that before I was editing this video. I already started using a Material UI, which is a different well, a different library, or maybe even a different way of styling the page. To make things look like the same, I think I will also change our public website to Material UI one day, but for now it's fine having it in Twitter Bootstrap. So those are features and pages. There's a public folder with a background in it, the one I got from unsplash.com, and our logo is in there, and I have some styling over here which is quite minimal because I used Twitter Bootstrap. I only have to do some small fixes there to make this work, and of course there are the tests, and I kept this to an absolute minimum. I'm checking with Jest if the home page matches this snapshot, and so this renders this page. and it checks if it is the same as the snapshot it made before. You can remove this snapshot and it will regenerate this file. So you have to commit this to the repository so the build server can check if it's actually the same. If someone did change something, for instance in this component, this test will fail, and you have to remove this snapshot and regenerate it again, which also makes it possible to see in the git commit what actually changed in this snapshot, and if you not accidentally change some other pages. Like I said before in this video, I'm not a major fan of Jest because it's you're basically testing your output HTML, and I don't think that's actually what you want to test. You want to test, for instance, if this button is still available, and whatever the HTML of the exact button is doesn't matter, in my opinion. As long as this feature is still there, and that's something you're not testing with Jest, or at least you're testing a way lot more than that, and you're, for instance, not testing what happens if you click on that button. So I think the behavior testing is way more important than just the rendered output. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please press the thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel to keep updated about the latest developments on Hello Moon.